welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 7 of coloring Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, last time we got that valley sort of done. I was actually thinking about maybe darkening this bit a little bit, because now it seems like this is all in the front and that is like way to the back, whereas in the reference it's all a bit closer to each other. But I usually think that you should just kind of keep coloring, and yeah, maybe I will feel different once that tree is colored, because it kind of gives a different feel to everything around it. But I think for this part we're gonna continue here. It's just gonna be a little bit tricky because we have like two colors behind the trees. So on the one hand we have all the green, and it looks like we're going into the flowers as well. But on the other, at some point it kind of just becomes this, well, sky again. So I guess we gotta keep an eye out for, well, that transition part. But anyways, we are going to get started. Now, in that last video, I was mentioning that I was waiting to get a new sharpener, which I now have, so that's good. I also have pencil extenders. They are not the best. I mean, one apparently is the wrong size, but I can put that in there. I mean, quality-wise, these are not the best, because I think you could just kind of pull that wood part out. Oop. But, and this thing isn't too good, but it's holding the pencil. They were cheap, and I have a bunch of them. So I got more than one, way more than one. They also came with like double-sided ones, where I haven't found anything that actually fits in that bigger part, but because usually the polys are considered big, but and on this side you kind of just have to cram them in. But I found that these are a little tighter even. But I guess the point is, once it's in, it's in. So with a larger one, it's maybe not that practical to show, but with smaller ones, I'm sure they will work just fine. There might be an ultimate pencil extender. One I have found, but it's impossible to get anything for the Pablos. So if anyone has a good tip, because again, you have like the big side and the small side. You can just put this in, and I can just still pull it out. So I still need to look into anything that would be good for these, and preferably, they can just be budget, just like that. I think I paid like €5 for 20 extenders, so I'm okay with them falling apart. But for the coloring, since we're going to be around that area where there's also these pink flowers, I see that. I see a few little dots in there. So I feel like that should be pink, but for some reason I feel like if I start coloring that hill first, I might get into trouble, and I might actually color that as well. So I'm going to start with, well, that pink. So it's going to be, well, they're all the same color. So I'm just going to see if I can filter through that. I'm going to need a very sharp point, so this is not going to do. Alright, so this should do a lot better. Now I'm just going to see if I can find that one first, because it's kind of like in between everything else. But I feel this part, this is those red bits, and then this has got to be it. So I'm just going to start with that. Now this, by the way, is the 142 of the polys. This is a very dark one, so it's just going to be little bits, but I feel like this is definitely part of that. Just maybe the bottom. Just getting started is the most important thing. I mean, they are flowers, so I did try and look into the Pablo set if I could find the right pinks, but I did kind of feel like it was lacking, so I went for my polys instead. Now, this is a bit tricky to see, but I think it's that. This is the point where you kind of see that it's not exactly a copy of the lines, but just a little bit of that dark color. All we need. Ooh, I do like this point. I mean, I actually got one. I got this one now, in case anyone is wondering what I got, so you can kind of change, well, the length of the entire thing. So if I put it on 5, I guess that will be comparable to this. So as you can see, like here, I mean, this one I did do in the rotary sharpener, but you can see sort of a difference. So that's kind of what those settings are. I mean, I might do a thing on that too, but I'm not much of a review kind of person, so. And there's also speckles of some sort of orange. I'm going to get into that later because I actually didn't grab any oranges. Nor did I grab any pencils. Wait, what? Alright, so one lighter. And that would be the 127. So I think I grabbed the 142, the 127. After that, we'll be going in 128. And then I got the, what is it, light flesh? Yes, well, I mean, over here it says light flesh, but the 132, because apparently they're called beige red, but 132, that should be the same. Because apparently they change names every now and then. Or I'm just going to make sure that this one has that same sturdy point. I'm just going to put it on 5. Might as well just demonstrate that sharpener straight away. And back to 4, because I actually tested them on a different set of pencils where I thought 4 is good enough, but this is the 5. So just to show the difference on what that sharpener does. Just, you know, so we know. So this was the 127. Gonna go a little darker because those flowers aren't all that dark. I'm just gonna make more flowers here than there were actually in the reference, but who cares? I'm a bit shaky today. I'm not sure what that's about. Had a bit of an off day yesterday. I guess today I'm a bit off as well, but we all have those days. Might just be, I don't know. Could be that I just need a snack. I mean, if I keep being semi-shaky, I'll just stop somewhere in between and make a sandwich or something. I feel like I did enough of that dark. Now there is like a few more over there, but in the reference they don't seem to be all that dark. There is a little bit of dark, so I'm just gonna get that 127 and see if I can add just that suggestion of dark. Shaky than usual. That's gonna be a thing, especially in fiddly bits, but we'll see how it goes. So this was that 128. Now I could just name the names, but as we've just seen with that lightest color that I picked, you know, they apparently change names as well every now and then. I don't know why, they just do. So it would be impractical to use the names because they'd be looking for your pencils forever. Alright, so now we're actually going to go into these fiddly parts. I feel like I could just go pink on them. Just go pink. Now this is the moment where I feel like maybe I should have whited out the lines, but I don't know, I'm still trying to find that balance between whiting out and not whiting out. This is, yeah, that's that kind of orangey that we have there. Now, since I'm in my polys, I'm just gonna stay with the polys and just see if I can find, I feel like that 113 might be a good option. So that would be the 113. Just something like lighter. I'm just, 2 colors would probably be enough. The 109. Did I grab the 109? That's the 108. Would that? Yeah, but that would work too. But yeah, yeah, well, I grabbed it anyways. So I'm just gonna try 2 colors for that. For those, and they're really tiny. So that would be 1. And that's number 2. Actually trying to make it so that I can remove that sharpening bit in editing. I mean, if I say I'm going to sharpen it, then we all kind of understand what that means. Just saves time. And as I may have also mentioned, because I do repeat myself a lot, is that, you know, not everyone needs to sharpen at the same time. So it's not really relevant, I feel, how much sharpening I need to do. Because, I mean, you might be coloring along and for some reason your point breaks, or mine breaks, and then, you know, that doesn't mean everyone's point break at the same time. I just had to say it, didn't I? I just had to. I had to talk about breaking points. Well, okay. Still feel like I have really a tiny bit, so I'm just gonna ignore that happened. But, well, that was a little demo. If you are coloring along, did yours break too? Alright, I feel like I went way too bright on this, but I will still be going around that with the green, and I might actually smudge this orange a bit. Alright, so I'm just gonna call that colored. I don't need that anywhere else. I'm just gonna put them away and go back into those flowers with the 132, which is the beige red or the light flesh, depending on what set you have. So now I know that a very sharp point, I mean, they can break. That is a bit of a downside of a very, very sharp point. But I have to say that for details like this, I just prefer a very sharp point. I remember a time when I was coloring at the kitchen table, and then, you know, I would just kind of put my pencils in a, well, container, I guess, but straight up, and then I would reach over it. Don't do that with these, because every now and then I got my hand like stuck in the pencils. With these, at points like this, I'm gonna cut myself, which is not really what I'm after. It's really not. Alright, I feel like this bit is a bit, so I'm just gonna go back into that darker one and see if I can sort of, I mean, right now it looks kind of weird, but I just gotta remind myself that, you know, it might pull together. And another one darker, so this is the very dark one. I'm not going for that. So this is that 127. Alright, fiddly bit's done. No, there's still a little dot right there. I'll just, there. Because now I feel like the paper will not be taking too much color in there. Meaning that when I now go into, well, all the other colors, if I do go over it a little bit, I should be fine. I'm going to do the same I did over here. And let's just go in there with a bit of a darker, I mean, it feels green, but it feels like there's more going on, like a very darky kind of green. a darky kind of green. I actually, yeah, I'm not sure. Because I think I grabbed that 278. That's good there, but I feel like it's more. I'm going to go to 278 and then a 165, I think. Is this the 278? Right. So first we're going to kind of add some, well, not this part. This will come later. So we're focusing on that part, which is there. I'm trying to get both in the screen because I feel like every now and then I'm just pointing at things and then no one can see what I'm pointing at, which might be confusing if you're actually coloring along. You might want to see what I'm pointing at. Because, you know, maybe it helps to see what I use in the reference, as a reference. Alright, so over here, can we still see that? We can. There's like, that's that little curvy, humpy, bumpy thing. There's like a little bit of dark over there as well. So I'm just going to sort of draw in where I want these darker spots to be. Ooh, I love the point on these. There's a little bit over here. I mean, like the other part of the hill, this is going to take a while. But I do feel like it's rewarding. And relaxing, which is nice. Because again, you know, yesterday I had a total off day. You know, I won't go into detail, that's irrelevant, I feel. But, you know, just an off day, it could be something different for everyone. So, I don't know, it kind of drags into the next day, I feel. So, yeah, coloring is helping, especially those insane details. I just love it. I think some people would definitely freak out with all that detail, but I really love it. And now I guess it also helps to have a sharpener that really creates one killer point. Alright, now I feel like I should really pay attention to this area. Is this area right here? I'm going to go for it is that, which is like kind of gray. And I still have my grays out. This is that slate gray, which is really dark. Let's see if we can grab that chart, because that is this one. But I'm just going to go, so that's the 495, just to sort of draw in where these rocks are, or what are they? There is a lot of drawing in this, although in this it's more like you draw with your pencils, kind of like the suggestion. But alright, it's more the suggestion of drawing. I mean, it's not like these vines that are missing. I mean, you can't be really suggestive about that. If you're going to add that, you're going to have to really draw it. But hey, things like this, and yeah, there's a lot of lines missing, but I felt like I can't just color it in one go, you know, I can't just make it one color. So I feel like, I mean, I already tapped some blue, so that's good. That means I know where I'm at, which, you know, there's some gray around it. So this is that 006 mouse gray. So I'm just gonna, I don't know, I feel like this would look organic. Does that make sense? I mean, it has to look like it belongs. That's, I guess, the most important thing. If it looks like it doesn't belong, then, you know, right there, I feel like that's this area. And I kind of went really dark over there, but I mean, this, well, mountain hill thingy, it is drawn like it's in front of it, so I can go a little lighter, I feel. But, you know, first I want to get like the suggestion of what I want in there. Go a little bit darker over here. Oh my god, I love the point on this. It's like a secret sort of review in here. Well, I guess if you are interested in buying that sharpener, so far I don't dislike it. I mostly just wanted something that is kind of good with a point, maybe adjustable, because I don't know what kind of sets of pencils I'll be purchasing in the future. I mean, I do have a wish list, so like many of us do. And I know that, you know, these harder pencils, they can deal with a very long point, but just not all pencils can do that as well. So, but I still want to keep my options open for buying those as well. So I'd rather just like have a sharpener that can not kill them. Wow, that was a bit aggressive sharpeners. Though some of them really are a bit aggressive. I feel like I should just sort of go back in that suggestion of greens, where I feel that 137, I have too many color sheets all kind of in the way. But that is this color, and I do feel like it's sort of, that's that, isn't it? That's just, I feel like that. And also actually grabbed, because I mentioned that before, I do have the Castle Arts pencils, just because I was claiming that basically anyone can color along. So that color that I have right now is that 137, so that's this one. So if you have a different set, you can still find something that is close to it. Because let's be honest, if I grab, well, I do have to say that these sets do excel in there, but this one doesn't have it either. So, you know, they're all kind of complementing each other. So I guess if you use this set, you'd probably go for the 113, but it's just the idea. Although these I didn't cut to the sides because I haven't really used them in a while. I am not using this point. I mean, that is kind of, wow. Now I am using a bit of a longer point, but that's more because if I want to do it lightly, I could just turn it to the side. And I don't know if I use a smaller setting, if that would still work. Alright, now I'm going to make these blobs. I'm just going to ignore these two, because I would have no idea what to do with them, because the flowers are over there. And then there's just like nothing, so I don't feel like I can really work with that. So I'll just ignore those blobs. I suppose you can make them pink, or maybe you've decided there's some blue flowers there. See, kind of right now I'm just turning that pencil to the side, but I don't know if I could do that if I sharpen it to 3. And I did say I was going to go over this with, what was it? Some sort of pencil. That is for sure. But I think I was going to do that with the 165. So I'm just going to try my settings. But, you know, now we have like that shorter point. It's not by much, is it? Did I turn it to 3? I did turn it to 3. Huh. Oh, wait, I was using this. That seems very similar. Probably because it was long. I'm just going to sharpen a few more times and see what I end up with. Yes, it should be shorter. There you are. So that will be the 3. So I'm just going to see if it, yeah, I can still hold it to the side. Alright. So I guess it's just a preference thing. I guess I just went for 4 because I have most of my pencils I use with that rotary sharpener. And that just leaves them with a very long point. So I feel like if I cram them in and I put the settings to 1, then it might be too short. There's a little crumble of something. Crumbly. Right, now this is just going to be, I don't know what is going on here, but I feel like I should just go a bit dark or something. because, well, that's kind of here, and we have this thing, and then we kind of go into that debatable stuff. Which, I don't know if I should add that straight away, but I feel like maybe I should, even if it's only this little bit. So I'm gonna go for that. I was not counting on me also having to color this. So I actually have most of the other pencils already ready to go. Alright, and there's some darkness. I'm just gonna go for, I don't know, maybe I should grab a very dark blue as well. Night blue. That's this one. I don't know how it, see, that's what I mean. Like, my rotary sharpener was just killing pencils. Right, so I'm just gonna just try and add that blue very lightly. What's that? Smudgies. Because there's also like green, and there's a lot of things going on here and not going on. There's just a suggestion of something happening. I could just ignore it and kind of stop with the green, but now I have all my pencils out anyways, so it's just easier to kind of, well, easier. It should be more manageable anyways to create that little transition here. Yeah, I have to sign it that way. There's like not a lot going on in here, but just because there's a tiny little blob here, I'm just gonna stop right here. I feel like this would be good enough, because now I have a twig that kind of goes into nothing. That makes no sense, but I will camouflage it. I'll just blop some green here, I think, because we are still in that. What is this? 175, which is very dark. I'm just gonna go in with that, because I now need a shadow here to explain why you can't see that branch. I feel like this part should just kind of join in on it. And I can't really see that on the reference. It's a bit of a blur. Well, that actually seems like that point where that light is coming through, but I'm just gonna make it like this. And then I'll do some more of that dark over here so that it kind of seems, wow, logical. This is the shading of that green, and of course the shading of the tree is going to be different, but now it kind of seems like it's a hole, or that's what I'm hoping for anyways. So that little hole is just going to be, well, let's just first go and continue that green, because I'm trying to do everything at once now. There's no way that that's going to work. I do feel like this is going to take forever again, but I did actually post like a work in progress picture, and so far people like it. I know I mentioned that in a previous video that, you know, I am asking for feedback and ideas and suggestions on how long a coloring chat should be, but because I do feel in order to give an opinion about that, you're going to actually have to more watch it, I guess. Alright, this was the Steel Gray, which was, yeah, Does it still have a point? Well, it still has a point. That is very, very wonderful. Lovely. As much as I like my new sharpener, I feel like I'm just using it right now. It's kind of like becoming a review video. Alright. Just a little bit of that bluey. Because that's that really light blue, that, what is it? The 371. Alright, now in order to get it like that, I feel like I need to just go into that mouse gray and hope for the best. Especially over here. Now, you know, for the rest of the tree, we'll just find out how we want to approach this. But for here, I feel like this is kind of what I need right now as a sort of solution. Because I feel like if I connect these two at a later state, or phase, or whatever, I feel like I won't be able to make it flow into each other as well. Actually put the lighter beiges away, so that's a bit of a shame right now, but this is that normal beige. Again, sharpen it. So it does break every now and then, but that's probably because I used them in a different sharpener. So after a few after using that in the sharpener a few times, I guess, you know, the point will be more in the shape of the sharpener. I feel like this is kind of okay. I mean, it looks kind of weird and bloppy right now, but a lot of things looked weird and bloppy. Everything there was bloppy as well. I mean, yesterday I didn't really get around to coloring, but I did get around to editing. Did actually find some time for that. And the amount of times that I say bloppy, that's why it's a lot. Alright, so that is just, I mean, it could be I could go into ash gray, but the sky I did in that color, which was 1241. I was going to say 141, but that is probably an entirely different color. Is it 141? 141, is that a color? Well, I have a 140, that is blue. Alright, so just, ooh, yes. That, yeah, I mean, it looks like part of the sky, doesn't it? I mean, right now, it just, again, looks like weird bloppy stuff or alien eyes looking at us. I don't know. But I'm going to stop fiddling with that. I feel like it's good for now. And if I put too many layers over it, I feel like, you know, once I get to the rest of that weird bloppiness, you know, I could still sort of make adjustments. Alright, so we are back into doing the green stuff. Feels like I'm all over the place, but if you were here for the last bit, then... Alright, so I got this 266, which I definitely don't need. Alright, so this is that, what is it, 167? I'm noticing that, you know, naming the colors is now becoming a bit more of a habit. So everyone who's been coloring along and is like, well, what are you using? I have noticed that sometimes I just say it at the end, and I'm finally done coloring everything, and then I'm like, oh, by the way. So in editing, I do try to just add it up front. Just get a little bit of info on the screen. You know, I do kind of get all drawn into coloring this, so I lose all sense of time, and I kind of forget to say stuff like what I'm using. I mean, I want to be informative, but I am mostly here just to color. That's kind of, well, it's kind of hard that, you know, I still don't have like a lot of feedback on things. So the feedback that I do get right now is mostly on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, maybe not while you're watching it, but while I'm coloring it, it's just nothing quite yet. So kind of have to figure it out. All right, so we did that part. And then this is kind of like a beige area. So I feel like we should just get into that with the, what is this? The brownish beige. I mean, it's not exactly, but I noticed that that's what I used over there, so I should probably kind of be consistent. Also mentioned that, you know, my hills, this valley is kind of off compared to that reference. But, you know, if I'm consistent, then, you know, it still looks like a hole. You know, then it's completely off compared to the reference, which I feel might look less weird than just parts of it looking off and then at some point it becoming spot on. I mean, once we start going into these flowers in there, we probably might be able to get a bit closer with our colors, but right now it's just not happening. Just kind of started at the sky where I figured, you know, I'll just pick my own colors, hope for the best. Did the same thing with those, wow, there's a rock side thingies. So I feel like if I'm, you know, somewhat consistent, then it still looks good. And I feel it would look weird if I just go into the right colors all of a sudden. It has to be a bit of a smooth transition, because that is what's happening in the reference as well, you know. It's also smooth and well thought out. And now I was just thinking, that rock, that already became a bit bluey greenish, which was, pretty sure it was this, the 172 that I used. So I'm just going to start using that here as well. Just so that, you know, because I can slowly change into, well, the right colors. So we're kind of still using those colors, but we're now going into how it was intended. And I have like 3 sets and I still can't find the right color. Though I would not be the first nor last person who might be struggling with this book a little bit. And I feel like this is definitely not the easiest picture in the book either, so I feel like I maybe have made it double hard on myself. So we are back into beige. I do feel like I might want to go into lighter beige, but just checking, because I think I posted like a little picture of, well, the result we had after part 6. And oh my god, people are so nice. So, you know, if you were one of those people saying something very, very nice, thank you, thank you, thank you. It always does make my day. Well, I mean, if you are watching the process, then you'd be very familiar with the fact that, you know, half the time I'm not sure of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to do it. Which was that? That was the beige. I named that, right? The 403? well, editing me will take care of it if I didn't. For some reason, I grabbed the 006 license to color. Wow. Because I want to sort of, I don't know what I want to sort of do. I was going to say push things to the background, but there's like a bluey sort of something going on. And this is a bluey sort of gray. So I can make that bluey sort of something go on in here too. What? It's such a fluent speaker. It's gotta be so painful to watch. Or not. Might be very recognizable. That could just be it too. I don't know. It's just weird because, you know, I'm recording it and then in editing I'm kind of listening to it and sometimes I'm like, what? What? Why? Okay, so I do feel like, I mean, it might look a bit messy. Oh, no, it doesn't. That was me taking a little peek at the camera. All right, so now I'm gonna go into, what is this, pine green? I feel like I could use that to just blow up all my greens in here. Why not? Just use them all. You pay for them, you are allowed to use them. Because it is a kind of a dark green with a, on the happy side, if that makes any sense. So this is why I decided to color those flowers first, because I'm probably going over that with my green as well. But because they were already colored, they're kind of safe, I guess. Now over there, can we see that on screen as well? Yeah, a little bit. Just move it a tiny bit. But there is like a bit of a light gray, which I'm going to do with that, I think that beige, so the 403, just to let everyone know that there's a little bit of rock over there. And then I do feel like there should be some green in that gray, so I'm gonna, I don't know, I now have my Pablos and my polys kind of mixing. Alright, this was that very dark one, 278. I actually love the way that pencil looks. Just that green with that gold on it. It just works. I mean, you still can't read it. It's still kind of no good on screen. But, you know, it does have that luxurious feel to it. Alright, so I'm just going to probably go from this area and then work my way down. Usually I will color from left to right, but I don't know, feels like it doesn't really matter. Because I was sort of creating a bit of a transition thingy over here, which I feel like I kind of did. Yeah, it's taking forever, but the way I look at it, it might be that I'm actually adding a lot of details without really them showing up. So, you know, in the end, it looks all kind of blobby, but, you know, I am spending a lot of time to create suggestions. So that might just be it. Now, I don't know if I could do that faster. I really don't care at the moment. Because, you know, not a professional. And I might technically still be a beginner, but I don't know what the right uses of that word would actually be. Like, when are you a beginner and when does that stop? Is there like a timeline for that? Because I mean, compared to those who have been coloring for, well, years, I am a beginner. Alright, so this is that 175, which I'm just going to use to darken everything a little bit. I feel like I need a better point. I do actually love the fact that that sharpener has like its own little container. Well, guess it's called a compartment then. Because with the other handheld that I have, you know, you're constantly kind of carrying this like tiny little container back and forth over the desk and trying not to tip it over. And this is just better. I feel like the lighting is kind of working against me. Could just move it. Yeah, just a little bit. Gets over here, you know, I want to create the idea that it's kind of back in the distance. Can't do it if it's bright, shiny, and really sort of seeming to push forward, which is kind of what you do with the lighter colors. Kind of like the lighter something is, the closer it seems. Again, not an expert. Which is probably why I keep layering on top of layers. Even though the paper is kind of done taking layers, I'll still add more. Which can be a bit of a hassle to do, but I just like the final result. So if you feel like, you know, 3 layers is more than enough, we all kind of color our own picture. It's just that over time I realized that I have a weird way of coloring, I guess. Or just a very different way. It's so different from what everyone else is doing that I thought, you know, maybe I should share it. Because I might not be the only one who does that. So there might be someone who's coloring in the exact same way and feel happy about it, because that's also the thing, you know, I'm happy with the result. And every time I keep trying to do things that other people suggest, you know, use the pencils in the way you are apparently supposed to use them, I am just, I don't know, I feel like I'm struggling more, and I kind of go back to what I'm doing now anyways, just, you know, mess around with the pencils. And sometimes, you know, to me it feels like I'm not making any progress, but then, especially since I started, well, making videos for speed coloring, then you kind of speed it up, and then there is this point where all of a sudden something is happening. Now, these little lines that I'm creating, that is, by the way, very much on purpose, because we are coming a bit more to the front, so I feel like I can make it look kind of grassy. I might still go over it with another pencil just to kind of, yeah, maybe blur out those lines, but right now I want it to look very streaky and grassy, and then afterwards I'll pick a lighter color, which is, I don't know, it might be, what do I need, because it's kind of like gray and not even all that green that I'm doing, but I feel like I can just connect better if I use that. So I might go into, I think that olive one, that might actually, now I'm just going to check this, and this might actually connect better into that. So I'm just going to sort of go over that and just see what the effect is. Oh, I do feel like this is going to work. Because, you know, it's still going to be in the back. And it's like more in the front than that, because that has no definition at all. It's just bloppy suggestions of greenery, and this could be, yeah, I'm trying to make it look like it's an in-between kind of area. Where, you know, there is like a little bit more of that grassy feel to it, but it shouldn't exactly be, well, grass just yet. I mean, we're still kind of in that bloppy area. Especially this bit when we were trying to push everything to the back. this is the part where all of it kind of seems to come together. I'm gonna go into this a little bit too, because this kind of mossy stuff that I'm drawing in, it makes sense on a mountain. That kind of mossy feel, and it kind of just, well, it doesn't just stop because there's a tree in front of it, does it? It just grows on and on and on. See, like that. I mean, it's nothing like the reference, but I do feel, I guess I feel that they are my hills. Now, I do want to go, well, lighter, but not too light. So that is a bit of a, that's that one, which I do feel is more, I would call it fun. It's a more fun kind of green. It's lighter, it's like brighter, it's more fresh. See, that's more fresh. But I'm just going to start with that. I feel like there's a lot of crumble today. Might be a downside of my sharpener. Well, not a downside. I mean, I love this point. This sharpener does make a good point. So I guess I've just hidden a sort of review, product testing thingy stuff in the thing. What? Right. See those little blobby things that I left in there? I'm just gonna go into that with that really dark, what is it, 175? Because I can. Alright, now I feel like it's kind of coming together. Probably gonna use my, where is my pine green? So this is like off from the colors that I used so far, because I used that 278, the 165, but mostly this one, that one, and that one. And this one just seems, well, this, I do love this pine green, because it really looks like pine green. Because I now already added some other colors, I feel like if I just go over this here and there, kind of makes it float. Wow, that looks good, doesn't it? Just a little bit here and there, kind of, yeah. No idea what I'm doing, but it's turning out pretty good, isn't it? Gotta love that. Just keep playing with your pencils. I mean, I do understand, like, that basic principle that when, you know, I add a dark color here and a light color there and then go over it with this, then, you know, you're going to get a different green anyways, but I don't know to actually do it. Alright, so I have like a little bit of a blobbiness going on there, and I'm not sure what to do with it, but I'm just going to create some shadow. I think I could do that with this. Yes, I can. So that it kind of seems like it's sort of hanging over it, and then I'll just do it like that. Like the mountain is melting and just dripping down. So that's just my way of seeing. I don't think this is making a whole lot of sense. So yeah. Wow, this looks, I like it. I do like it. I do like. And that turned out great. I mean, even that little spot right there. And then this is probably gonna go into that with that olive one more time. Kind of make it like, is this the tree or is this a hill? Right. Now I feel like I should stop fiddling over there and go into that next little bit, which is going to be right there. And like a bit of a blue kind of green. But I'm not too sure. That kind of looks maybe like that. Or just going to Because the last time I noted that, you know, the greens in here are like very green, and the greens in the Pablo set are a bit more to the blue side. So I feel like I should just grab those. That way I can still go very dark. So that'll be dark green. 229. With a little bit of, well, I don't know. Should I do this or shouldn't I? I mean, I went into that. Yes, I'm gonna stay sort of in this range, because I feel like if I go too different, then it might just look weird. So I might just add that 159. That's like their little light sibling. Did I grab the right one? 159. It's not a lot different, but it is different enough. But I am seeing that there's like some dark bits in there as well, so that means I'm gonna go for, I think it was the umber that I had at the ready. It is not. Did I choose that on purpose, or is that an accidental pencil just lying there? I feel like I have no idea why did I grab this? I don't need this. In there it doesn't, but I actually prefer that walnut. So the walnut is gonna go in there, which kind of seem, I mean, that is that, and then we have all that green kind of stuff. The blue, sorry. I mean, I might have to go very gentle here so that I can still add that blue. This is kind of fiddly. That is going to put my mind completely at ease, though. Fiddly is my jam. Does take a lot of focus, though, so. Well, again, you know, I've also started editing the previous parts. And I've noticed that, you know, at times I kind of repeat myself a lot because I get distracted. Or I just stop coloring to talk. Which, well, that is going to make this turn into a very long, well, series, I guess. So I feel like I should keep coloring and maybe just limit myself to just talking about the page. Oh wait, no, I do feel like this is about all the brown I need. I'm going to slowly fade. I'm going to have to go around all these little white bits. I mean, it's fun because we were actually going to color like that bit. There's like, I don't know, that feels like it's like part of a tree, like a leaf that is, or a twig that is invisible. Alright, I'm just going to add a little bit of brown over here, because I really feel like this is an important part to add that shading. I actually have to go into that 175 again. Alright. Now this is basically that darkest area, so I'm just gonna, I mean, that purple was supposed to be part of that. It's becoming such a confusing page. I'm pretty sure I used this over there. And again, I'm not really going for an exact copy, especially at the parts where I just know that I'm not going to succeed at that. You gotta work with the lines that I am given. I'm sure you could just white everything out and just redraw, but why would you have bought the coloring book? And I guess if that is what you want to do, then, you know, to each their own, but I bought this book just simply because I wanted to color it, and not because I wanted to, well, redesign it. Alright, over here we were already kind of suggesting a darker one. Now, it can still make a difference in how that green is going to look, because over here I can pick a very dark green, and over here I can maybe go lighter, but I feel like I should probably get those little flowers in as well, because I feel like I'm going to go and mess those up quite a bit. Now I do feel conflicted, because it's like that color, but I don't have like a runner-up for it. I mean, that would be like the brown. So yeah, I don't like the idea of brown flowers. So I'm kind of hoping that, see over here I have like a assorted, wow, brown oranges. Brown oranges. It sounds like you should throw them out. Alright, so that would be probably the English red. With, well, either one of them really. I'm gonna go for that, because I never go for that. So that is the 065. So we have the 063 and 065. I think that's really about it. We did the same thing with these fiddly oranges. So it doesn't really matter if we go with the dark one first or the light one first. So I'll just, I mean, it does look like it's darker over here, and then it kind of goes into the light. Ooh, this point is going to break, I feel. Well, I mean, this is definitely that rep one, so I'm just focusing on everything that's behind that. I'm not trying too hard to actually go in layers, because I just want it to be dark. I feel like in that reference there's not exactly a difference either. He might have, there might be like a little bit of a color change, but not much, so this will do. Maybe once we go a bit higher up that we have to try and get two colors in, but I feel like this might still be too light though. But I don't feel like going any darker though. So this is just like some bloppy. I'm just going to turn these into convincing flowers, I think. Just going to take that entire area. These I'm going to try to actually sort of two-tone. I feel like this is too fiddly. I feel like you can't even see what I'm doing. I mean, I can hardly see what I'm doing. But there is definitely color ending up on paper. I mean, right here there's like multiple blobs, so I can just sort of start in one and go lighter in the other. Right. I have no idea how that looks on camera, but oh, very bloppy. I actually should have started with the English red, which I didn't do. Now I understand. I actually grabbed the wrong one. is over here. I mean, the English red is like darker, so I made a whoopsie, I think. Well, maybe we can unwhoops it. That's a lot of trouble for something to go wrong. Oh well. I was already wondering what was so light, but I guess the barrels aren't an exact copy, but it shouldn't be a problem. We'll still make it work. We always make it work. In the end, all will be well. And so far, that's what I've learned with my pages, that during the process, things go wrong. Insecurities everywhere. And then you just come to the point where the page is kind of finished. And you're like, oh, okay. So I'm just... Maybe I should also grab the hazel. Because I feel like if I grab that, I can maybe make it like a smooth... I don't know what I'm going for. But I feel like if I just use this, it would look better. And I had already convinced myself of that. Especially because that dark color that I picked, well, because I kind of wasn't paying attention, I picked the light one to do dark bits. So even though I went over that with the actual dark color that I picked, it's just not going to be the way I had intended. It's going to be lighter, so that means that a lighter color might be lighter as well, and then it all kind of comes together again. Wow, this is... love it. Love it, love it, love it. I mean, that is tiny, isn't it? Wonderful. Alright, now in that reference, I'm just going to put those away for now. Because in here we're already going into a light green, so I should not go into those things, well, not on the, well, south side on that, of that stuff. So I should stay up here. Now I can add some color here too. So worried I would kind of destroy those flowers, but alright. Should we just go all the way? I mean, this right here is, I'm gonna do that later. I feel like it doesn't make sense to, well, just go. Let's just do it. That's what we've been doing so far. On the one hand, feels like it makes sense to do this later, but I mean, this is kind of like a continuation of that other, well, hill or plants. This is like a debatable. This is definitely a hill. This is no longer rocky. Not in the reference anyways. It's like all green. And the first thing I'm doing is adding browns and dark grays, and wow. Yeah, because it makes sense to me. That was not too long ago where I just figured, why don't I add something like this to darken my greens? Especially for sections that are plants, because plants have brown in them usually. Alright. A lot of people would use like that, a dark blue for that, but I don't know. I somehow ended up using brown. It's very dependent on what you are coloring. If it's, I don't know, something that is like a wooden beam or something, suppose you would do that differently. I feel like landscapes, I mean, it's not the same as buildings, so I guess the way you create your darker tones is going to be different as well. Alright, I feel like this is kind of enough of grayscaling thing. And now we are going to go into our darkest one, or the semi-darkest one. Well, I'm just going to continue sort of what I did over there, because I feel like it makes sense. I mean, everything after this is going to be more in front of the picture, so I suppose after that we can start going for the brighter colors. But I just wanted everything in the background to sort of be, well, one thing. I want there to be a bit of unity, I guess. This is kind of why I'm sticking to those colors, even though I feel like they are a little bit off. Should have probably colored these flowers too. Well, got there. That looks good, I think. This is so fiddly. I do feel like the picture is coming more to life. When I was still coloring that beam, felt like I was going nowhere, but I don't know. Seems like they got rid of that little shaky hand that I had. That's good. It might have been just a little bit stressy or something, I don't know. But I got rid of it, so I'm glad too, because this kind of needs a semi-steady hand. Well, I have noticed when I'm drawing and I'm drawing lines, that is kind of like okay. Same as coloring, but once I grab like a fine liner and have to trace something, then for some reason the steadiness in my hand just completely disappears. I have no idea what that's about, but it happened. I feel like I really have to focus on this. Didn't really have anything in mind to talk about either. I really just thought, I want to get back to coloring. I know I did spend a bit about my new pencil sharpener. But that's also like a preference thing. A lot of things are preference. Same as like the pencils that you choose. I actually like these harder pencils for details, but then again I also love detail. The more detailed the page, the better, I feel. It just calms me way more than those, I don't know, I have like pictures where you could just color and not think. but I just don't like that. These big areas where you can just, you know, call them the more simple pages. You know, we're all wired different. It's the same with our music choices, I think. I mean, the music I would pick to calm, that might actually completely stress out someone else. Or not. I don't know. Alright, I feel like we are getting somewhere. I also feel like I should be adding, well, different colors to it. I'm just going to go into that 173 again, just to create some areas, I guess. Just areas. Areas of what? I don't know, but just little bloppy sections. Because in the reference, it doesn't exactly look like it's a patch of grass, I think. It doesn't look like that. It looks like it's kind of like little plants that are growing here. So, you know, if I create a little bit of a difference in the green, you know, if it's not all too smooth, adding different blobs of green, then maybe it would give that suggestion that it's plants. I don't know. And I have been coloring like pages with details before, because, you know, it is what I prefer. I just really like those pages that challenge, but those details were not as tiny as what I'm dealing with in this page. So it does require a different sort of coloring, I think. Different focus as well. Different techniques too, because, well, I mean, if it's a big area, you can just color it easier. I mean, I wouldn't really know how to do these little tiny things. I'm still figuring that out, because it's really just so tiny. You can hardly just layer and sort of go over this at random. I feel like I should just do it like this. Yeah, it does look like it's making sort of sense. Maybe. And those lighter patches, we're going to use that, I think 167. Oh, there's going to be a point where I just memorize them. I just knew all these colors top of my head. That would be way quicker with coloring them. I just know all those. Well, I'm sure some people do. If you use certain colors a certain amount of time. And I think this is already like a new pencil, so I have been using it quite a bit. Same goes for that pine green, that's also a new pencil. You know, I like landscapey kind of things. So this is, it's my jam. I love this. And trees, and, you know, everyone has a different preference. And generally speaking, I would say I do color kind of everything, but, you know, if you have to pick something that you really like, yeah, I think it's more nature things, whether that be flowers or trees, or so I have quite a selection of books that just are about gardens, and I guess the style of the line art is not a lot different from what I'm seeing here. This is more fiddly, but it's kind of like realistic, but not realistic at the same time. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense, but I just love that. Because you also have these books that are, well, basically just black and white photos. Some of them literally are photos. I get that there's a certain skill to coloring that. I just prefer to color line art. I'm not sure why, just prefer it. I just really want to decide where the shadows kind of go and where the light areas go. And I mean, in this one I can't because, you know, I'm still sort of trying to maybe get close to that reference. So I guess you could say that in this one decisions have already been made. You know, in this one I do like the style. But generally speaking, I don't really like grayscale. I love them for my markers though, when I just want to quickly color something. When I'm not in the mood to figure out where shadows go and I just want to color. You know, like I just want to make this green. Then, you know, I just want to make it green. I did say that I was going to take another sheet because I'm just reminded, because right here, I feel like there's like a indentation of something. I'm just going to, that cannot be this. It's like right here. There's just nothing there. Okay. I thought like maybe that was from the previous page. It wasn't. I mean, I'm not sure how this page is doing right now, but there should probably now be more of the other. Yeah. You can kind of see that. I mean, that's where I colored that beam, and you can just see that there's a lot of color again pushing through to that next page, but that is definitely has everything to do with the way that I color. All right, so now I'm into that 167 again, because I feel like I've been darkening this a bit too much. I do feel like this is slowly starting to look like the hill I want it to be. It's growing up nicely. It's turning into the hill I always wanted it to be. And again, you know, the more we go to the, well, front of this page, the lighter I want to make it. Because we are, you know, we're not in the background anymore. We are kind of like in that in-between part of the page. So you gotta gradually go lighter. I feel like you should gradually go lighter. I mean, he just went, I mean, on the reference, it didn't go gradually lighter. It just became less foggy. So I guess that's what he used. But, you know, at some point I gave up on giving it that foggy kind of look. So I feel like this is I'm just doing the exact same picture, just different time of day, where the fog has cleared. I'm not sure why the dwarfs were posing all that time just to wait for the weather to change, but they did, bless them. It's just, I do feel like it's looking kind of good. Now I'm gonna go see if I can go into that light. What is it, 170 that I grabbed? Yes. May green. And I don't know if that's like the right choice. It might be too light, but I feel like I should start adding lighter colors to it as well. Because I mean, over here, there should be like sun, I think. I mean, that's a definite, like a light area. So probably the sun, I mean, on the mountain side, it seems like with the castle, the shadow is on this side and the light is there. But over here, I mean, this side of the tree is all light. So I guess the light is coming from this side as well. It's a coloring page. Ooh, I do like this again. Let's see if this is good. I feel like we're going good. I mean, you know, I keep feeling like I'm taking forever, but like I said, you know, I took like a little photo picture thing of this, posted it, you know, and I do get like people saying that it's turning out nice, so I'm just gonna believe them. I choose to believe them. I do feel like it myself, you know, like it's actually turning out rather nice. It's taken forever, but it's the end result that counts, I feel. I'm sure I could color way faster, but I personally wouldn't feel as good about the end result. And so far, you know, I feel good about it. I feel like it's taken forever, but it is starting to look good. That's how I feel now, and I want to keep that feeling, I guess. I could keep being frustrated about the time that it takes, but honestly, that is kind of... I knew that before I bought the book. Though when I bought the book, I didn't think I was going to do coloring chats, so... And that's the thing, you know, that's very confronting. It just really shows you how long you're taking. Because there's a timer running, so maybe I am already coloring faster. I didn't time the previous page. Right now, I really feel like I shouldn't be doing too much. I'm gonna go slightly into the other direction now with my colors. Just to see, wow, I could kind of circle it, I guess. Because I don't mind there being a certain direction right now, because it's a hill. So I feel like that semi-streakiness is actually helping me create that little idea that, you know, that hill is going up. But maybe doing a little bit of circling can sort of counter that. And this is that 173, if I'm not mistaken, so that dark olivey color. And I feel like we are almost there, aren't we? Feels like it. Now I'm seeing a little bit of a bloppiness right here, which I could just color because I don't feel like it's really going anywhere over there. Maybe I can sort of do this area, but I'm not sure. I mean, this is definitely part of that tree. Can we still see that? Yes. So that is definitely part of that, and yeah, it's just like a debatable little bit. I feel like I can't really go too much to the front because I have to do these flowers too. And you know, we do not want to be here forever, so I'm just debating right now. I think I'm gonna go for the red ones, because I do like red flowers. I don't know what that is about, but red is just, I don't know, I like the color red. Alright, so I have the 223, which is definitely, where is it? I'm looking for a very short pencil, but I'm pretty sure I just grabbed the new one. See, this is why I couldn't find it. I was used to this still being very tiny, but it's not. And then after that, I see you have like that deep scarlet 219. It should be darker, but I feel like if you just really go dark, it just... Oh, that was a short one. Well, okay. I guess we are grabbing another one of those extenders. That is not exactly the best of the best, but, well, I mean, it works, so why not? It's just rolling away, but I'll just look for that later. Or maybe something that is lighter, but I'm thinking about just going into some sort of pink, and I might just go for that 124. So we have our colors. Let's just get into the reds. Let's just see if we can get everything. So now this dark one isn't necessarily in there, but I feel like in order to make it look good, I just need that shading in there. I'm actually trying to do these as individual, which is way more work, but I feel like in the end that would just look better. I mean, I'm not sure how he painted that. I don't know what the real size of it is either. Because I noticed that on some you can actually see like the structure of the canvas like really up close. So I feel that, you know, they might actually be extreme close-ups of the original. In which case, you know, how did he do that? You would indeed have to kind of know the size of the entire thing to figure out what he used. See, and this is why I take forever. Other people would probably just see this as one whole thing, and I see individual petals, which probably makes the color along with me quite unique or annoying. I'd be like, Dodo, why don't you just color the entire thing? So this was that deep red, and I'm just gonna go, well, pretty much all the way to the top. I'm just gonna use that pink to sort of go over it. That'll be my burnishing tool, I guess. But I just feel if I color all these individual little, what are they, petals? You know, in the end it would just look better, but that could just be my imagination. That's what I usually do. Yeah, I don't see it as a flower as a whole. I mean, I get that it's a whole, but it is one flower. I do see that. I just also see the details of the flower. I feel like those should be colored individually. And, you know, in the end, it might not even be all that visible. But to me, it is. And it might just change that feel of the flower, and so you might not be really capable of seeing it with just one look, but maybe it just kind of sends off a vibe. I feel like my colors are more integrated now. I mean, this is just tiny. Probably means that these flowers are going to be like that last little bit I'm going to do. Do you feel like that my red is off? So there's like red and blue here. All right, so I see a blob there, which I have decided is this right here. Yeah, and go lightly, and I'm just gonna go straight over that, just so that I remember what I was doing. No, I'm not exactly using light pressure on this. Right, so I'm seeing another one right here, and I'll just make it this one. So I'm like kind of pushing harder over here, and then a little bit of light over there, so that when I go over like this red, it just turns out a little bit darker. And then we have one over here. See, with my other sharpener, I mean, it just makes a very long point, but not sharp. And you need a sharp point to get into all these nooks and crannies. Yeah, so there's like 3 next to each other, which I feel is this little area. See, anywhere else would just be like, just color it all red. But I don't know. I must do it like this. So if you just want to color them one kind of red, or do the bottom blob dark red and then the top blob lighter red, you should definitely do that. But, I mean, it is from a painting, so I guess he would have had like maybe some light paint and dark paint on his brush while he was blopping in these flowers. Because I see those techniques every now and then, you watch enough YouTube, the algorithm kind of decides that you want to watch things about paint as well. Like, oh, this is art too, you must watch it. So every now and then you kind of do, or you're not paying attention and it just starts. Alright, so this is debatable orange. Just gonna go straight into these two. Still holding the other pencil. Alright, so that's gotta be this and this. And then this is definitely this. Or well, definitely. This is just kind of those, you can't really tell what it is. Alright, so there's this little bloppy over there. We are back into blobs again. Now I'm just gonna go into that with that red. These are too, I don't know, I just decided that these don't get that pink because I want them to look different. I mean, they are flowers, so not all of them are going to look exactly the same. Now this, I have decided to just go in there with that deep red and leave that little spot open so that I can go in there with this. And we are back to these. Now there seems to be a little bit of a hole in here. I'm just going to color that a bit darker. This is actually a nice opportunity to actually add that dark. And a little bit over here. A little bit. It's just such a tiny area. I mean, I can actually see where I want things to go. But I can imagine if you're watching, you're like, wow, you're actually coloring that as individual flowers? Yep. Alright, so I'm seeing a little red thing over there, which, I don't know, I feel like that is this. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go straight in there with that red. Because, I mean, his flowers are kind of, with his, I mean, like the reference, but they seem to be all over the place as well. Now, at that second color, I am just going to go in there. Because, that dark color that's going to create that illusion of shadow is already there. And then I'm just going to stay away from that top area. That's going to be done with that lighter one. And I should just go back with that darker one now. So this is why I did not pick a red that was close to the other red, like that dark red and that, well, the middle tone red that I have. They are really kind of far apart. Well, they are on my swatches, but I mean, in here it kind of just all blends right back together. I do feel like I should add a little bit more red to this. I mean, that pink is just there to create the illusion of light, so. This is so fiddly fiddly. amount of focus, it just takes the chat right out of color in chat. But I feel like it wouldn't be fun to watch if I'm just messing it up because I'm trying to talk. No, I tried to do both, but I usually end up doing one at the time anyways. I feel like I ran out of things to say as well. I mean, yeah, I got a new pencil sharpener, so I guess I could talk a little about that, and I did. But there's only so much you can say about that as well. I mean, I'm happy I bought it. It works. And, you know, I wouldn't tell people not to get it, but this is actually, these were the first few times that I've been using it, so, you know. If it's actually bad, then I will figure that out. Alright, now I'm still holding a red, so I'm going for those as well. Now, I feel like I can hardly be doing a lot of shading over there, so I don't know. I mean, maybe I could, yeah, I'll just go in there with the one red. There just comes a point where you cannot use more than one pencil, or don't want to. I don't know, I just want something to be bright red. I love bright red flowers, which is why I also love this page, because I mean, they have these wonderful roses, and I'm so looking forward to those. Not because I'm actually good at coloring roses, I just love that red. I'm also starting to kind of look at what we might be doing for the next part. And for the next part, I think we're going to be just doing the flowers and, you know, maybe the green at the same time. I mean, over here, it actually looks like it's a beautiful flower. And over here, it's just green. So, well, we'll just see about that in the next one. I want to think for the next color and chat, I'll just continue with the flowers. They are very fiddly. I feel like I should get like a magnifying glass or something, because I can hardly see what I'm doing, but I really love that. I really love that insane amount of detail. You know, and as you may be noticing right now, I'm actually still trying to stay in the lines. I don't know if I'm actually succeeding all too well, but, you know, that's just the way I feel about line art. Alright, so now there's some white going on as well. But that's like, no, it's a little hard to say. Alright, I'm just gonna have to figure that out later. I already know that coloring white flowers is a pain in something, but I don't know, for the next time I am definitely thinking flowers, because we are there already. We are closing in on those dwarfs though. So I'm thinking for the next time, well, it's gonna be flowers like those yellows and the blues. I mean, we already got rid of the pink. But I think, you know, for the next time, we're just gonna try and finish as much as this as possible. But, you know, you have now seen how long I take to do just these. So, but it is starting to come together nicely. So that's very nice. That is what we were going for. I mean, I do know that I still have to do those trees, but I don't want to make the mistake of thinking these are just trees, so we're just going to do them. Of course, they're going to take forever. But for now, I mean, we said we were going to work our way down. I think I was predicting that I was going to do part of the hill and maybe part of the flowers. So for the next part, I am predicting flowers. Just not sure if we can actually get to finishing, because over here, I mean, it's so fiddly. It's tiny. Well, it's kind of like the oranges over there, and there's some orange over there, and then the pink kind of just disappears. But this is going to be insane. I know, we'll get to that. We will get to it. I mean, so far, and even this, now that everything is kind of colored in, I do kind of like it. I may have done a little bit too much of that light coming through, so, you know, I might be going back into that when I get to the tree. But I think for now it looks good. It looks like convincing. So at least I know that these colors are the ones I'm gonna use for the rest of those areas. I feel like I should also find a moment to draw in. There's some gems over here, and I don't know what else needs to be drawn in, but I feel like maybe I should do that at some point too. But for now, I am happy. I mean, it's taking forever. It really is. So for those of you who are looking for a very fast color in chat, yeah, this is not the place. But the way I feel, you know, it does look like there's a suggestion of different plants, different kinds of vegetation, which, well, that's kind of going on here as well. I mean, he had paint and an empty canvas, so he didn't have anyone telling him what to do. I do. I have him telling me what to do, basically. I mean, that is by choice. You can still decide to color this page however you want. I just want to be as nitpicky and detailed as I can be. So again, if you have this book and you think that's orange, then it's orange. It's your book. You know. And if you think those flowers are just one blue, they are just one blue. Just know that I am very nitpicky. So it's never just one color, which I think you've already noticed, because even those, they're tiny, but they have two colors in them. And even with these, I've tried, and they are so small. And like I said, you know, I do try to stay in the lines. You can also see that with that green, I've done a lot less burnishing. You know, I might get to that in the next part, but it's like really only when I really take it this close, you can kind of see the difference. Like over there, I really did a lot of burnishing on those mountains, well, hills. And then over there, I didn't, but it does make it look more like vegetation. And I think this being more burnished, so that little shine and the, you know, complete lack of paper that you can see now, it does make it feel like it's maybe more to the back. So, you know, I feel good about this. You know, it took a lot of time, but looking at it now, and I'm looking at the book and actually at the screen, and I do feel like it does kind of hint that there's like different plants growing there, which is what I was going for. So it's taking forever, but you know, I am happy with the result. So I don't know if anyone still really wants to color along, but maybe you're just here to hear me ramble or to watch me color. I mean, you're here for a reason. Are you here? Well, okay. Yeah, I'm kind of happy. So, you know, for now, I am definitely calling this the end of this part. So, you know, if you like the video, do click the like button. It is very much appreciated. And if you are waiting to see more, because there will be another part, we will be continuing those flowers, do remember to subscribe. There's a lot more coming, and this is only page 2, so do subscribe, do turn on your notifications, because I will keep this coming. So yeah, I guess that was part 7. So for now, I'm gonna thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you back for part 8, I think it is. Yeah, flower time. Alright everyone, have a good one.